Unreliable cars you have to avoid: Ford Fiesta, Tesla Model Y, Mercedes A-Class, and more. Hello and welcome back to MIA Luxury Cars. For today's video, we will be going to talk about some unreliable cars you have to avoid. Let's get it on. Number 1. Chevy Suburban. Old Suburbans are absolute workhorses in terms of dependability. They've been on a downward spiral since 2014. For the past 8 years, they have received the lowest reliability ratings in their class. You've got your standard engine failure and a slew of electrical gem lines. But the frame is the final nail in the coffin. The frame appears to enjoy twisting and breaking. Number 2. Acura Rlx. Honda too can produce a dependable Lehman. And their diamond stunt legend is the Lehman. The car, known as the RLX in the United States, is significantly more expensive than its competitors, which means it's not worth putting up with one of the worst reliability ratings that Acura has ever received. These vehicles have a number of issues. The most serious is transmission failure. Number 3. Dodge Dart. Now, honestly, the Dodge Dart is one of the least bad cars on the list. However, this does not imply that it is of any quality. The class's worst brakes combined with an unreliable transmission imply that if you want a decent car, you have much better options. One of those options is not the Fiat 500. The 500 is a blazing masterpiece of Italian engineering. While we can't simply tell you not to buy a Fiat, we can say that the 500 is particularly bad. Number 4. Ford Fiesta. If you roll a 1 or a 2, your car is in the shop. That also applies to the Fiesta's bigger brother, as the Ford Focus is essentially the same car like the Fiesta. As a result, suspension and transmission issues are, you guessed it, the same. Number 5. Mini Cooper Countryman. Mini Coopers are fun to drive, but it doesn't matter how fun they are if you never get to drive them. Unfortunately, a Cooper Countryman will spend far more time in the shop than driving. So it's probably best to avoid these tiny vehicles. Previously, it was simply a bad time for small cars. The 500, the Fiesta, and the Cooper are all mediocre. The worst, however, could be the Mitsubishi Mirage. Is it even necessary to say anything? In 2022, 74 horsepower is expected. Number 6. Infiniti Q50. It has the worst handling and writing in its class, as well as the worst fuel economy, and it's not any cheaper than the competition, so avoid it. Number 7. VW TIGUAN. Beginning with the VW TIGUAN, it is no longer the least reliable SUV. Rather, it is the next one. However, it is present. The only thing keeping it from being a total lemon is that the repairs will not be prohibitively expensive. Number 8. Jeep Cherokee. The Cherokee lacks power, has frequent transmission problems, and a falling apart interior. The Compass is similar to the Cherokee, but it has less power. The Grand Cherokee Trackhawk is the worst of the bunch. When a vehicle has more than 15 major recalls, you know there are problems. The Patriot is literally just a Jeep Compass, so it's another underpowered Cherokee. That's somehow worse, because unlike most Jeeps, it has a low resale value. Number 9. Tesla Model Y. The Model Y, on the other hand, has serious flaws, such as frequent door malfunctions and a leaking climate control system. That's essentially bad for Tesla, because there are now about 100 cars that directly compete with the Model Y. Stick with the X or S if you need that played power. Number 10. Chevy CRUZ. The tiny Chevy CRUZ is now much more expected. It's cheap, it's made of plastic, it breaks frequently, and there's nothing redeemable about it. A Civic will serve you far better and be far more enjoyable to drive. The CRUZ was a pretty good looking little car when it first came out, but do yourself a favor and just avoid it. Number 11. Jeep Wrangler. The Wrangler's issues are well documented and have been for quite some time. The big difference this year is that the Wrangler now competes with the Bronco, as well as a new and improved 4Runner. Unless you really need the Jeep life, there's no reason to get a Wrangler. Number 12. Maserati GHIBLI. We occasionally make light of the fact that used ones are dirt cheap because they depreciate more than any other vehicle, which should be your main reason to never consider purchasing a new one or even a lightly used one, same as Mercedes. Number 13. Mercedes A-Class. Specifically the less expensive A-Class. When you buy a Mercedes, you expect it to be flawless, not electrical issues, poor performance, or poor service, but that is exactly what you get with an A-Class. Number 14. Mercedes-Benz GLE. Still better than the Mercedes-Benz GLE, the least dependable vehicle of the last decade. That's harsh, but when nearly half of the consumers report major problems, no matter how swanky you want to feel, a Mercedes-Benz GLE isn't the answer. Number 15. Nissan Juke. The Juke is bad, but it's really just any Nissan with a CVT. That transmission is so bad that an entire generation is afraid of CVTs. Their large vehicles aren't much better. Number 16. Nissan Pathfinder. The Pathfinder is yet another no-go. The crossover market is the most competitive and they simply do not bring their gate because the Pathfinder has a bad interior, no power, and is one of the least reliable crossovers money can buy. Number 17. Range Rover EVOQUE. For some reason, you just can't make a car that costs less to own than it does to buy. But that was expected. Don't buy one of the most appreciating vehicles ever, which we always advise against. Number 18. Volvo XC90. Unlike the repairs involving the Volvo XC90, unfortunately, it has the trifecta of bad: long repair times, exorbitant repair cost, and a high frequency of repairs. Since the 240, Volvo has come a long way. They've certainly had their share of mishaps along the long road to where they are now. New Volvos are actually quite good. Number 19. Chrysler 200. Domestics are still unable to match import dependability, which is why after Chevrolet comes Chrysler with a completely unimpressive 200. There's not much to say about it. It's a small car that's outclassed by almost everything with 4 doors, but it's more expensive to own, and in a slew of minor but frequent engine issues, and you should be able to avoid this disaster. Things don't get any better when you go big, because the Chrysler Pacifica is also a total shamble. To paint a picture for you, the Pacifica is the only van to appear on a list of the least reliable cars from Consumer Reports and Motor Authority, demonstrating that not only is Fiat doing something wrong, but there are clearly ways for them to solve the problem without charging so much. Number 20. Subaru Ascent. There are still surprises such as the Subaru Ascent. If you've been following the CVT WRX saga, you're probably not surprised that they have some serious lemons. While the Crosstrek and Outback are among the most reliable, the Accent is among the 10 worst. Small Subarus are better than large Subarus. So which car do you think is the best to avoid? Please let me know by leaving a comment below. And if you enjoyed this video, please press the like button, turn on the notification bell, and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. Thank you for stopping by to watch. See you in our next video.